So I came across Landmark the other day in Escape from Tarkov, and to absolutely nobody's surprise, he annihilated me. But it ended up being a really fun fight, and I asked him if it was okay if I made a video breaking down the fight, because there was a lot to learn from his movement, and watching yourself back always kind of shows you a lot of where you need to work on. I was trying really hard to keep him on his toes, and it ended up being an awesome fight. I'm Jessekazam. Welcome back to another Escape from Tarkov video. This is another episode of our Lessons from Beyond the Grave, where we take a look at clips from my stream where I died, and we watch them back and figure out what I could have done better. And in this case, we get to learn a lot from Landmark's perspective as well. If you like this video, think about dropping a like, commenting down below, or subscribing to the channel for more content like this. I stream Escape from Tarkov on Twitch. All my links will be down below. I'd love to have you stop by and say hey. But with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive right in. So a few things to note before we kind of let this fight play out. Obviously, I put our perspectives side by side. That way the video doesn't have to be forever long, and it actually provides really cool perspective of where each of us is at any moment. Sorry, obviously I had to pull this from his Twitch stream, so the quality's not great. I was on painkillers. You're just gonna kind of have to bear with me. This is the best I could do to provide the coolest kind of experience. The audio was gonna flip back and forth because you can see the little audio thing. I try to, give, what my footsteps sound like from his perspective and vice versa. And what we're going to do is we're going to watch the fight breakout in its entirety, and then we'll go back and talk about it. And there's so much to learn from his movement, and there's so much I wish I would have done differently watching it back, of course. And then finally to note, unfortunately, we did have a few people come in earlier in the raid and let us know Landmark's in your raid, Landmark's in your raid. I had tried to avoid that because I want the experience to be organic. So as soon as we heard that, we tried to basically run away, do like this big, huge flank and just get away so that if we did re-engage with him, it was more organic and we weren't just running right at him when chat was like, that's Landmark. So we kind of made this big flank. We weren't sure of what he was going to do. So when we get to this fight, we unfortunately know that he's in the raid, but we're not sure if this is him. So all that stuff out of the way, we'll go ahead and watch this fight back, and then we'll kind of go back and break it down. I am but a fruit fly to be swatted away by... I heard him running left. Yeah, someone's inside here. Yeah, 100%.
Where?
I can't tell. I think in the auditorium here.
You opened that door?
Yeah, I did. I just don't want to hang too long because if he's not in the auditorium, he's going to peek me from a window. Yeah, you hear that? It's close, man. Are you in?
I am in. I went under.
Where is he?
Oh, never mind. I gotta stay focused.
Damn! They're still breathing!
That's really annoying. Can't jump down there? There you go. You're predictable, though. You are very predictable, though.
Oh my god, he turned the flashlight off. He turned the flashlight off, yo, GG's. He's so smart, bro. He turned his flashlight off. I was literally... Dude, I'm so proud of how long I lasted there. I was playing to his flashlight. I was gonna pre-fire the flashlight because I knew he was gonna come down. No, GG's, man, GG's.
It's Jesse. Oh, shit.
Tony out
Sorry,
here
it's always
clapping
a
kids
GG.
with his
No,
homemade
it's honestly a
sausage
good fight.
pizza.
All right, so that was a little bit of a longer fight, but I hope that you kind of can appreciate getting both perspectives throughout the whole thing. There's so much to unpack here. There's so much that happens throughout the fight, and it's really interesting to not only be able to watch your own playstyle back, which is why we do these lessons from Beyond the Graves, but to be able to see it and compare it to somebody else's playstyle. The fact that I was able to get his footage and see, it shows you so much, because I consider myself kind of like a medium-paced player. I want to not be afraid to make a push, to make a swing when I need to, but I don't want to be running around aimlessly or needlessly because I get caught in a sprint with my gun down when I do that a lot. So, but when you watch it back compared to his movement, you kind of see that I'm like, oh man, maybe I should have been more aggressive. Maybe I should have been a little bit quicker because you can see his movement is insane and how well he plays to the audio and plays the game and the movement system that we currently have. He's constantly moving, but at the same time, he's not just constantly sprinting. You see, he never really sprints for more than like 1 single second because he's trying to keep his gun up as soon as possible. He takes every corner really cautiously, basically peeking it, seeing if there's anybody, and then advancing. And those are all things that he's kind of gathered that allow him to move much quicker than I do, but also keep himself in a position where he can avoid dying a lot. Basically, in this situation, my plan was, unfortunately, like I said, I knew Landmark was in the raid, but anytime I get into a situation like this, where I feel like somebody is moving a lot, and I can just kind of tell after this many hours of playing the game that this person is either really good at the game or really aggressive or plays in a way that I can't counter really well, my goal is to move around, reposition after every single engagement, and just kind of confuse them and be a little unpredictable. And what's crazy, the lesson through this fight is that it worked until it didn't. About halfway through this fight, I mean, you hear him say that, and I left it in there on purpose. You say, this guy's annoying. At that moment, I was doing that really well, and I was confusing him, and I was like constantly rotating. And every time he thought he knew where I'd be, I wasn't there. But what happened is that loop that I was in of trying to be unpredictable became predictable. It's also a testament to how much he's thinking and processing during a fight. Those movements and rotations I was doing, the first time I went through them all, it was unpredictable, it was good. And by the time I made it through basically those same few spots again, he understood what I was doing and was able to basically kind of almost pre-fire me and just absolutely annihilate me. So a lot of learning that I can do there. But it's interesting, you know, we got the duo, we're moving in. What's crazy about this area on Shoreline is that there's so many entrances and exits. I can go into the admin building here. You can go into the kitchen right here. You can go downstairs right here. You can go up into the auditorium here. So 4 entrances in, and there's 4 different levels. There's the auditorium and concession level. There's the top level here. There's the first level here, and there's the basement. So this is just an absolute cluster of trying to gain audio cues, and that's the type of player I am as well, somebody that tries to gain information via audio cues, rip Tarkov audio, I know, try and gain information via audio cues, and then execute a plan based on that audio. Well, this is just such a cluster. There's so much audio. There's so many places in and out. There's so much verticality to it, and given Tarkov audio, it's basically impossible. So this is kind of the first engagement here with my buddy. And you can see Landmark does the same thing. He just does it better and he does it more timely. He moves really aggressively. And then when he feels like he's got that audio cue, you see he backs up And he stands still here for quite a while. He's completely still for 10, 15 seconds. He hears my buddy advancing. He backs into this room. He holds a narrow angle. Boom, misses the first spray. This specific thing he does right here, I've made an entire Beyond the Grave about, where as soon as he engages, as soon as he starts pulling the trigger here and engaging, he's moving into cover. He's not just going to stand his ground and shoot until he eliminates somebody. He's going to take the opportunity to attempt to get the kill, but he's going to move into cover so as to not give his opponent the opportunity to really snap to him. So he backs up. He plays it slow when he needs to. He moves into cover and then makes a really aggressive push. Not just, this is interesting as well, this is playing to kind of like how the game feels right now. Instead of just peeking that corner again, he makes a push deep out and then pulls his gun up. It was only a tap sprint. Boom, getting the guy back into cover immediately. If that was me, probably, I would have just peeked the corner again instead of doing like a full push out. And then as soon as he does that, he kind of walks it back. So he eliminates my teammate, and I'm alone, and I'm trying to figure out the audio. The next like 30 seconds is basically him healing and moving around and me standing right here trying to figure out where this audio is coming from. I didn't know. I threw the grenade upstairs. I didn't know if he was upstairs, first floor, concession level. And as you can see, his movement is he's all of those places. He's moving up, down. He's checking his corners. He's healing. He's reloading. And then he kind of does the same thing. There's this few seconds where we're both just standing still. He can't find me, so he's trying to gain that audio cue and say, you know, where's this guy? Is he moving around? Did he run away? Is he still here? He moves up. I kind of get a cheeky angle on him as I hear him coming up. And then this was basically my strategy every time. Take shots, run away. Take shots, run away. Take shots, run away. The whole point is for me to never re-peek an angle here because I don't feel like I can win in a straight up 1v1 flick contest with this guy, right? Like, I don't feel like, after hearing how he moves, how quickly he eliminated my teammate, I don't feel like I can just push this person and out-flick them, out-aim them, out right-side peek them. I'm not, that's not where I am the strongest player in those like really intense, really close quarters, really high skill areas. My skill comes from being able to reposition or outmaneuver an enemy. Obviously not an enemy quite as good as Landmark, but so I shoot and I rotate out. What's really interesting here, and this once again shows you the map knowledge and how much Landmark is thinking. Going back to right here when I engage with him he's on the first floor here. I'm up by the concession stand. I engage. I reload and I go for a reposition. I'm like, I want to get out of here. He calls my play almost perfectly. This is a very interesting shot. This shot right here. He moved out and he's watching this door. Do you see how close I am? This door that's on my right here is this door. So if I had continued, if I'd been like, man, I just want to back away. And if I had walked out this door, I was toast. At this point, I had no idea. I was assuming that he would have been either pushing me where I originally engaged or waiting for me to re-peek. Nope, he knows where my exits are. He hears me running around on wood, so he knows I probably didn't leave on the door on the other side, and he's waiting for the door. I kind of back it up, and I'm like, man, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. And then he starts to reposition. I'm hearing him once again. I'm hearing his audio this direction. I don't know what floor it's on, and I'm trying to gain that information. And I go, okay, I want to get out of here. I want to go down. I open the door, which gives him some audio, and I kind of push around to try and figure out, you know, what's going on. There's just a lot of, like I said, an insane amount of audio cues trying to figure out what's going on. I hear him push down. I feel like we get a little bit of desync here where I was kind of behind the wall, but I'm still taking damage. That's just the way of the road. That's the way it goes. I push up, but then I go, okay, is he going to re-peek that? I know I've got a right side peek here. I'm close to the door. And this moment here informs a lot of my strategy as well. I see his flashlight come down. And as you can see, as you saw later, I was playing to the flashlight a little too much. Right here, I was like, okay, I attempted to almost pre-fire it. I tried to start shooting before I saw him because I was like, I see the flashlight. I see him coming. He's going to make a push. I go, okay, so all right, he's messed me up. I maybe hit him a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to reposition. I'm going to get out of here. The whole plan is to just not be where he wants me to be. He's moving around. Again, I'm trying to heal up. I took a lot of damage there. And I hear him upstairs. I really wanted him to drop here, and he kind of thought about it. He actually tried to go for a huge brain play and jump over this. The grenade totally had me distracted. If he had landed this jump, I actually don't know if you can, but if he had made it over that, I would have been dead there 100%. But I really wanted him to drop because I wasn't sure if he knew I was down here. He ends up, probably rightly so, saying that's a little bit too predictable. He makes a move, push down, I engage on him again, and then this is where I've like basically restarted my loop, and I go back down to the original door. I'm holding the original angle, and it's crazy how much he picked up on this fight in this short amount of time. He comes down here and basically just knows he was already ADS. This is another huge thing that a lot of the top players do. Like we said, he's learning my patterns. He thinks that I might be down here, so he ADSs first away from the wall and then does a quick peek, and he's just, I mean, this is just where he shines. He's head level, I'm low. He's already ADS'd. I was around this corner, not ADS, and I ADS'd as he was coming. And he, I mean, you can see his first shots were here. So as he's peeking, as he's peeking me, as soon as he sees that there's a body there, even though his reticle isn't on my face yet, he starts shooting early. It's not quite a pre-fire. He wasn't shooting around the corner, but as soon as he noticed there was something there, he started shooting to get a hold of that recoil and drag it over to me. And then the last thing to talk about here, the most important thing, look at how different these stills are. This was a bad position for me to be in. There's a lot to think about. I was in a right side peak, so I felt like I was in a bit of a strong position. He had his flashlight on before, so I was playing to the flashlight. But look, I am silhouetting to the fact that there's light. There's light coming in from outside. You got the green sign here. There's plenty of light for him to see exactly where I am. I'm staring into a dark corner, basically hoping that he has his flashlight on because that tells me where he's going to be. And he peeks it, and I'm low. I should have been higher because there's stairs right there, and that's once again just map knowledge. Like, he's peeking lower than he normally would because he knows he's elevated. I'm peeking lower than I should because he is elevated. And it's just so dark. I'm staring into darkness. He's staring into light and can see me silhouette there, and boom, drops me really, really quickly with that 45 vector. I thought it was super funny. The very first thing he said after he killed me was that I was predictable. Going back to the beginning of this fight, the point, what I was trying to be was unpredictable. I was trying to constantly move, and I just got into a loop, and that movement became predictable. I was trying to avoid a straight up just like 1v1, we're both out in the open flick contest because I knew I couldn't win, and I ended up in a loop. So I think the big lesson here is that this playstyle in general of trying to keep your enemy on your toes and keep them kind of like not knowing where you are is fine. But if it's going to be an extended fight like this, you have to move to new positions. And then the second thing is I felt like I could have been a little bit more aggressive. I play so much so to the audio in Escape from Tarkov, and in certain situations, that's okay. On woods where there's elevation, but the elevation isn't stairs, it's just rock formations and stuff like that, and a lot of open field, you can really play to the audio and hear where your enemy's coming from and pinpoint it so much better. In a situation like this with, 14 or 15 different entrances and exits, 4 different levels, quick corridors, fast movement for my opponent, I can't just sit around like this waiting for the audio, especially against a player of this caliber that's checking every single corner, being really meticulous and being aggressive. I think a lot of players struggle with that, which is why I wanted to break this fight down, because a lot of players are scared to be the one that makes the noise. And then they end up dying all the time anyway. And that's a weird rub. That's a weird place to be. So I think ultimately, if I'm going to be unpredictable, you got to be more unpredictable than how I was. And I feel like I could have been a little bit more aggressive throughout this fight. So ultimately, GG's. It was super fun. Once he realized it was me, it was hilarious to see his reaction. GG's Landmark. It's 0-4. This is the 4th time Landmark's killed me. I'm going to get you one day. But yeah, I hope this helped. I hope that fights like this, I hope the lessons from Beyond the Grave videos help, and especially this being able to have both perspectives. I encourage you to go back and watch the fight a few more times and just try and pick up on the movement, his movement. There was a lot to learn from it, and it ended up being an awesome fight. Thank you so much, as always, for taking the time to check out this video. If you liked the video, think about dropping a like, commenting down below, or subscribing to the channel for more content like this. Like we said before, I stream Escape from Tarkov on Twitch. All my links will be down below. I'd love to have you stop by and say hey. And if you're looking for people to play Tarkov with, our Discord server is an awesome place to be. That link is down below. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will definitely see y'all on the next one.